I gotta lower this a little bit. Alright. Oh man, fucking riding the high off of that one. Give it like a minute to sort this out. Saturday, I can do that. I have a lot to read. This is fucking... It's a lot to go through. Okay. Sorry, I have a lot to go through because this is more of like a personal thing that's going on right now with my phone. One of my buddies is getting married pretty soon, and we're just going over the bachelor party. So I was not trying to like go intermittent with this information, but I kind of have to like see it because it's kind of important. But sorry about that. Hi guys, welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney. I've stepped away from streaming for a while, but hopefully with me being full force back in, I haven't missed much. I know I haven't, but the first case I know was done, and I don't think I started the second one. I think I saved it as it finished. So everything from here, again, is still brand new. I've never beaten this game or touched this game before, but just giving the heads up for anyone that's like kind of interested with the Phoenix Wright series. This was made back in 2012, I think, for 3DS, and then both this and apparently it got a sequel is remastered, so we're gonna go through both. Just for now, gonna just jump right back in here. I just got off of streaming the Nintendo Direct, which I popped off. It is already on my YouTube channel right now, and the pop-off is on highlighted on my Twitch, in case you're interested. But let's just continue the game from where we left off. Yeah, we just started this second one. Yeah, that's been, what, 2 months since I touched this game? Fuck me. I'm an ass. Hey, what's up, Dez? Thanks for the host. Appreciate it, homie. He was actually part of the, crew watching it with me,
In a corner of that small, dark room, Sholmes and I waited with bated breath. In time, there came from the ventilator a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound. Suddenly, Sholmes sprang into
not
action,
Sherlock Holmes,
lashing
Mr.
furiously
Sholmes.
with his cane at a point in the darkness. "You see it, Wilson?" he yelled, his tense voice reverberating through the air.
Not Watson, it's Wilson.
I raised my dark lantern's shutter,
Copyright.
and the room slowly came into view.
I appreciate it, Dez. Thanks
Sholmes
again,
was
man.
staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering to me. The victim's most perplexing final words. The speckled band. I believe this is the terrible coil to which you referred, Wilson. In front of us was an enormous adder, its fangs bared as it threatened to strike.
It's so weird hearing voice acting in a
It
Phoenix
truly
Wright
was
game,
the
but I'm
most
so for
terrible
it.
speckled band I had ever seen.
exposition for the case coming up. Well, it's a good thing I should actually go get water because this is going to go out real fast. My throat is going to die. Oh, another cutscene. Nice. I don't have to say anything.
So
yet.
then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. Pray, do excuse me. The cabin door was bolted from the inside when the man was killed. No marks to suggest the bolt was tampered with in any way. So, this would appear to be a locked room mystery. In his final moments, the victim scrawled a message on the floor. Almost certainly with the ink from this upset bottle. A Russian word. So the victim was a Russian man then. And the letters are well formed, suggesting he was compos mentis at the time. This is a most extraordinary script.
But that's what I say about every
Not
Phoenix Wright
by the
game.
same hand as this message. In fact, I deduce it was written by someone of a different nationality. This paper seal was placed just prior to the incident, by the victim himself, I would venture. Well, what have we here?
That's how I feel.
Who are you, and what do you think you're doing here?
Da! No one must touch before maritime police come. We must wait!
Shh. That won't be necessary. You see, in less than 5 seconds from now, I will reveal the killer to you.
What?
Oh,
Don't
he
be
is
upset.
good, huh?
This is murder. An in cabin locked from inside.
Ah yes, the locked room. But that mystery is paper thin.
You don't mean the culprit is in there?
Who are you, and where have you come from?
I'm a great British consultant detective, the only one in the world. Herlock Sholmes. I presume you must have heard of me.
I wanted it to be like nothing in there. Damn it. I gotta play the game. Great acting, too. Ugh, my head is throbbing. What is the keys again? What's going on? Something's not right here. There's trouble in the air. Wait. I can't move. Ryunosuke, yeah, that's his name. What the fuck? Ah! What the? Why am I in handcuffs? So you wake up now, We had to drag you out of the wardrobe, of course. Why is he... Bro, that's 2. What the fuck? Feeney only got 1 in. What the fuck? Alright. I do not believe how you could not wake up. You're a true cold-blooded man. You. You found me then. We found you. And now you pay. Criminal with a K. Mortal Kombat. How long are you hiding in that tiny wardrobe, sorry. Now you have been found. It is time to admit your crimes. Unless you want to find out how cold the ocean is. No, I'll tell you everything. Huh? There's only one thing I'd like to know from you. Isn't that... Why did you do it? Why did you take his life? Miss Susato. Wait, what did you just say? Take his life? Where is he? Where's Kazuma? Get the fuck out of here. Wow. Ha! You pretend you do not know? You are a wolf in the sheep's pelt. You are the killer. Do not try to make excuses. What? Kazuma-San, Kazusama's body was discovered not long ago. Here, in this very cabin. That was bolted shut from the inside. His body? Please, do not try to tell us you were doing this terrible thing in your sleep. Kazuma's dead? But he can't be. And these handcuffs. Surely you don't think I have to know. Why did you take Kazuma-sama's life? Answer me, please. No. Wow, man. This is what we're wow. Kazuma. It was just 2 short weeks ago. Are you sure about this? Won't we get in trouble? Don't you find it fun being a stowaway? Besides, how else could you come to England with me to study? It was really something else when they brought your luggage in here earlier, though. The way that Russian crewman just tossed your traveling case onto the floor. I thought I was gonna die. Yes, I still can't quite believe that. I really didn't think you'd be able to fit inside my trunk. You must be even less of a man than you look. Hey, honestly, I thought I'd broken every bone in my body. Well, it's about 50 days until we dock in Great Britain. But if you confine yourself to my cabin here, I won't expect anyone will discover you. I hope not. I get the feeling those Russians wouldn't be very forgiving of a stowaway. They're a sturdy bunch, that's for sure. What I want to know is, why do we need to keep it a secret from the young lady? From our faithful judicial assistant, Mikotoba, you mean? From your close friend, more to the point. Surely we could confide in her, could we? I don't believe she'd give me away. No, but if she knew what we'd done, that would make her guilty by association. It's best that only you and I know about this. Suppose so. Anyway, it's about the time that the steward is supposed to come and clean the cabin. I know it's cramped, but you'd better get in there, I think. It won't be for long. And anyway, compared to hiding inside my traveling case, it'll be a breeze. Yes, but what if the steward decides to open the wardrobe for some reason? Then I'll be in for it. Don't worry, or stop worrying. I'll tell you what. Why don't I write "keep out" or something on this piece of paper? What? Then I can stick it over the wardrobe doors once you're inside. I don't know. Well, that explains why he was in there. We've only been at sea for about 15 days. How can this have happened? We were supposed to be going on this adventure to England, together. We leave you at next port. Stay quiet until then. Don't make more trouble for yourself. Murderer. No, I'm not a murderer. Duh, you said before. You said you admit everything about your crimes. No, that's not right. I mean, yes, I did stow away on the ship, but murdering my best friend? No one else could have done it. Admit the truth. Susato-san? Please, tell me what happened. I need to know. Very well. But there is something I would like to ask of you, too. Ugh, those eyes. She looks like she's ready to destroy me. This nightmare is getting worse by the minute. I suppose all I can do is try to find out what really happened. Yeah. He really has been killed, hasn't he? This isn't just a bad dream? And these handcuffs. They think I did it? They think I'm Kazuma's killer? When they found him, the cabin was locked from the inside. What do you mean? There's no access to the cabin via porthole window, and the bolt on the door can't be operated from outside. In other words, after the crime, the culprit couldn't have escaped these four walls. What? Or to put it another way, the culprit can only have been somebody inside this cabin. Or do you have some other explanation? This is impossible. How did he die then? What happened exactly? Are you still going to deny the charge, even despite the circumstances? Please, Susato-san, you have to tell me. The cause of death is still undetermined. They don't know how he died? The ship's doctor is examining the body, but of course he has no post-mortem analysis experience. I don't suppose we shall learn more until an expert has been consulted at our next port of call. So presumably that means there were no obvious external signs of injury then. Yo, what's up, Mega Man? What's up, dude? That's true, yes. Oh, shit. Whoops. Is it not, I thought I hit down to get there, but I guess you have to use the mouse. Yeah, I guess down doesn't work. I guess you have to use the mouse. No. Oh, WASD. Wow. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Oh, that's good, man. I just got done streaming the Nintendo event, which I popped off on Bayo 3, so there's that. And now we're just playing Great Ace Attorney. This is the second case in the game. Can anyone tell me what exactly happened here in this cabin? I don't understand it. Why would anyone want to kill Kazuma? Presumably that's something you know the answer better than anyone. Please. Whatever you say, you were here in the cabin after all. Well, yes, I was, but he would always wake before dawn and do his training first thing in the morning. What do they reveal? Of note for me, brand new shit. There's gonna be a Chocobo Mario Kart. Basically, Mario Kart but with Final Fantasy. That looks really cool. That's super neat. Kirby, a new Kirby game, but it's actually gonna be open world, so it looks more like Mario Odyssey in that way. Really awesome that it actually has like a 3D environment finally than a 2D shit all the time. They showed off some more stuff about like Mario Party and stuff like that, but the biggest reveal for sure was going over Bayonetta 3 with that trailer. So that was finally after like what 2017 since it first was announced that finally we have a trailer. So, and it's gonna be released next year. So 2022 is looking kind of hot fire for sure. I was waiting outside his cabin, as I have every day so far on this voyage. But this morning, he didn't come. I could sense that he wouldn't. Does that mean he was already dead when Susato-san arrived at his cabin door, I wonder? I knocked, but there was no reply. Then I started to become worried, so I went to find a member of the crew. The crewman forced the cabin door open, and when we managed to get inside, there was Kazuma-sama collapsed on the floor. And the white tape there now shows exactly where he was found, I suppose. I had no idea anything had happened. I must have been asleep inside the wardrobe somehow. I wish it wasn't the case, but that's just very hard to believe. This is all very hard to believe for me too, trust me. Now I've told you everything that I know, so it's my turn to ask you a question. Yes, alright. Ugh, my head feels so heavy. It's still throbbing like anything. Stowaway. Why are you even on board this ship, Naruhito-san? You said something before about being a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, yes. I'm afraid that's true. It's 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I've been shut up in this cabin the entire time. I had no idea. But how could you accompany Kazuma-sama's cabin for so long without him noticing? No. That would have been impossible, obviously. Yes, of course. Kazuma invited me. He wanted us to go to England together. He actually asked you? But why? I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself. I don't understand. Kazuma, why do you want this? What's the real reason? Why go to such extreme lengths to smuggle me to England with you? What do they say about Mario Kart? No. I said that they're making a Chocobo Mario Kart. That's Final Fantasy. So it's not a new Mario Kart. It's a Mario like Kart clone. That it's like Final Fantasy characters like the Chocobo and Vivi and stuff like that. They're basically making a Mario Kart-esque game that's for Final Fantasy, which looks just like Mario Kart and seems like it plays just like it. So that's all I was referencing. It's an idea that's been on my mind ever since the end of that incredible trial. I think I told you then, didn't I? That you ought to become a lawyer yourself. Well, yes, you did say that, but I didn't think you were serious. You have a talent for it, I can assure you of that. But I've never really thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, that's something you can decide for yourself. London is the spearhead of cultural development, the center of the world in many ways. There can't be any harm in seeing such an important place with your own eyes, can there? Well, no, definitely not. But on a personal level, if you were to become a lawyer, then what? Nothing. Forget it. Kazuma-sama he was always saying the same thing. That he wanted to change the Japanese legal system. Perhaps he thought that he could do that with you. Yes, maybe. But something's still bothering me a little. The look in his eyes then. It was darker than I've ever seen it before. Susato-san. I'm sorry that we kept it a secret for you. My stowing away on the ship, I mean. If I know Kazuma-sama, I expect he was trying to protect me, to avoid me becoming guilty by association. That's exactly, right, yes. Word perfect, in fact. If you're not the culprit, then tell me, what happened last night here in this cabin? Well, the thing is, I don't really remember. Kazuma brought me something to eat, just like he always did. And then I got myself into that wardrobe over there, just like I always did. After that, I fell asleep. Well, yes. So deeply that you didn't even stir when Kazuma-sama was killed? Well, yes. I know it sounds unbelievable, really, I do. But it's the truth. If only I'd woken up, then perhaps I wouldn't be in this predicament. For some reason, my head's still throbbing like anything. Really? Is something wrong? Oh, no, it's... Please forget it. Susato-san, you have to believe me. I didn't do it. I really don't want to doubt you. But the trouble is, there's no one else who could possibly have done this. Ugh. Did you check the trunk? Kazuma, I don't understand. Why? Why did this have to happen? Ugh! I can't take this. Don't try to go anywhere. You're the perpetrator of this crime. You can't leave. I can't allow that to happen. I'm sorry, but Kazuma was killed right under my nose here, and I didn't do anything to stop it. And now I'm supposed to just sit around? My hands tied while whoever did this walks free? No, I can't allow that to happen. Well, what do you propose to do then? I'm going to investigate. I'm gonna find out exactly what happened here. I'm gonna work out who took Kazuma's life, and how and why they did it. So I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to excuse me. Yeah! Oh shit! Oh, he got flipped! What the? That was a Susato takedown. A Susato what? What martial art form is that? I'm gonna need you to prove it. Sorry? Prove it? Yes, your innocence. I need evidence. But how am I supposed to... Have you forgotten already? What you achieved just a few weeks ago? You successfully defended yourself in a court of law. Ah, I see. She's expecting me to present some conclusive evidence. I have to get Susato-san to believe me. I'll show her some evidence right now that proves I'm not guilty of this awful crime. Proof that I'm a student of the Imperial Yume University. I always wear it on my collar of my jacket. You can always take a look at it. Ah, the symbol of Yume University. Every student wears this pin with pride. It's funny, but most emblems seem to either be either round or rectangular. I like this spike design, even though it doesn't really make any sense. Although it does cause problems. Lots of students end up cutting their fingers on their badges. Perhaps it was the idea of the founders. A sharp pin for a sharp mind or something. It's got a little knob on it too. My personal student number is engraved on the back here. If you lose your pin, they won't accept you as Yume student at the university. You may not come in, they say. Oh, wow. Of course you can get a new pin made if you can just tell them your number. I've actually lost mine twice already, but I still don't know my student number by heart. I always say to myself, I mustn't forget to write it down somewhere, but then I forget not to forget that. 00901. Can I look at the knob? No. Alright, let's go back. This is the paper seal I wrote for the wardrobe. I remember really working hard to make it. But I'll never forget how Kazuma... Oh, that's true! Yeah, he couldn't... If he was inside and then that was on top, there's no way that he would have been able to get out. Yeah, it's this. But I'll never forget how Kazuma reacted. Do you expect the Russian crew to be able to read that? He said. Still, I was sure people would get the idea, even if they couldn't read it. So we used it anyway. And it worked. I don't know if the crew thought it was creepy or what, but no one opened the doors. Yeah, it's just this.
Yes!
Tell me, when was I discovered in the wardrobe before? Was this piece of paper stuck over the doors? Oh, yes it was. I remember it clearly. I thought so. Kazuma always put it in place whenever I went to sleep in there, just in case the cabin steward or another crew member decided to look inside. So naturally, he did the same last night as well. Ah! Yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you peeled that sign from the wardrobe doors before he opened them. But if I were truly the culprit, I couldn't have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the outside of the doors on my own. Yes, that's quite true. In other words, it's impossible that I killed Kazuma. Well, even if you are sprawled hopelessly on the floor, I can see why Kazuma-san thought so highly of you. Thank you, Susato-san. Now, do you think perhaps you could help me up? Yeah, you got fucking murked. She did the Karen shoulder tackle. Well, in the light of that evidence, I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating in here at least. Thank you. So you finally believe me? I'm sorry. No. What? I'm not sure yet. I can't rule out the possibility that you used some sort of conjuring trick to put the sign back in position. What does she think I am, a magician? For now, I suggest you investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. I'll do the same. Alright, let's get to work, Susato-san. Please don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts. Oh. I shall be watching you to make sure you don't do nothing that might disturb the crime scene. I wouldn't want you using your conjuring tricks to destroy evidence, for example. Right. Well, anyway, I should make a start on investigating in here. Examine everything I can. Kazuma, I swear, I will avenge your death. Alright, so now we get to the actual Phoenix Wright gameplay, the normal shit where we examine the crime scenes. I'm assuming we can't examine anything that's beyond this room right now. So, I can't even, can I? Okay, you can point and click to what you want to look at. Okay. I've investigated thoroughly, but I can't find anything out of place. Okay? What you got on the side? Seiji, the Japanese word for justice. The brushstrokes are straight and true, just like Kazuma. Yes, his calligraphy always was a reflection of his heart. Yet you can really look. Can you really look at those characters without feeling shame, knowing who drew them so thoughtfully? Of course I can. I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to? Even though you stowed away on the ship. Now you're gonna bring that up, are you? I can't win. Oh dear, that won't do. Oh, what's the matter, Susato-san? Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused I forget to look around properly. Ah yes, that's not good. I suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard. Are you, Naruhito-san? Oh, well yeah, it's just the tutorial to look left and right. I'm sure you're careful to look around using BMan. Okay. Now let's investigate all corners of this cabin. Yes, let's do that. I suppose my field of vision has been rather small until now. Okay, so it's cool. Yeah, again, it'll just mark you for... I didn't mean to actually click it. Ugh. Damn it, really? I just meant to, like, just hover over it and then just, like, click it so you can see, like, the check mark. Oh, fuck. That's what I get for mashing, too. Okay, that seems to be better, holding space and then doing that. When I went for help and the crewman forced the door open, this bolt had been firmly closed. It's quite a small bolt and not particularly sturdy, and it just slides across to secure the door shut. But still, with the door bolted, there would be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel, the culprit used a needle and thread to draw a bolt across from outside the room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself, but the door of this cabin and its frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There would be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid. Hold that. When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles all up and down my spine. Okay. I'll talk to him in a minute. I want to look at every item first. That's Kazuma-san's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it. Yes, he was always saying that a Japanese man's katana is his soul. I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring it on the ship. I suppose that shows just how important it was to him. And now he's gone. But I'm not ready to let his spirit go just yet. We got this bone thing. That's my dinner from last night. Roast chicken. It was really tasty. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But did you eat it on the floor here? I'm not a dog, Susato-san. I ate it at the table, of course. Which begs the question of when and how the plate ended up on the floor. And it didn't break, by the way, falling onto the actual floor. But Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right. So he didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me. Oh no! Does that mean poor Kazuma-sama spent his last night on Earth with an empty belly? It's just too horrible. Ugh. Now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. Now let's take a look at that real quick. What do you think this is? It looks like a broken piece of glassware. Whatever the thing was, it appears to have broken clean in two. The glass is such a beautiful color. It looks like a cute little Netsuke fastener from the kimono outfit. I'm not sure that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around with him, would he? And the mark beside it. What is it, I wonder? It has a sort of brick-like hue. Yes, you're right. Is it the color of brick, is it? Even though I don't see anything in the same color anywhere else in the cabin. Yeah, let's see what this is. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Bureau. It's essentially a list of requests from the captain to all passengers on board. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. He has a sword. What? Why are you staring at me? Oh, sorry. I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? I can't decide. Well, one thing's for sure. Either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. That's curious to me. The books have fallen over on the shelf. Look, they're all toppled the same way. And what's this? A statue of some god of the sea? Although he's fallen over as well. Yes, it's almost as if the whole shelf has been ransacked, and everything moved down at once. I wonder if perhaps it was Kazuma-sama doing his morning sword training, do you think? I seriously doubt it. Then perhaps it was you, Naruhito-san, in a fit of rage. I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books and a statue. Could the way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the case, I wonder? Well, I'll just set up everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess. Okay, I mean, thanks for cleaning it, I guess. Alright, ink time. That's a very large traveling case. I looked at the ink, but okay. Yes, it carries a lot of memories for me. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how I stowed away on this vessel. I was brought on board inside the case. Ah, yes. I see it says "this way up" in Japanese. Which in hindsight, I should have realized the foreign crewmen wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over and over, and then I was tossed on the floor in here. Oh dear, being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than a Susato takedown. Alright, can I get the ink, please? The ink is out of place, really? If you say so. Did Kazuma write that before he died? It looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. Then I suppose he wrote this message by dipping his finger in the spillage. Poor Kazuma-sama. No doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine it. I suppose he was trying to leave some sort of kind of a clue in his final moments, was he? I'm sorry, partner, but I can't read your writing. I don't think that's Japanese, Naruhito-san. What? Then what language is it? It pains me to admit it, but I don't know. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder? This is where dear Kazuma-San would have sat whenever he was writing. London Diary. Poor Kazuma. He didn't even make it to this destination. It looks as though the last entry is incomplete. Which means what? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened? Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue. Hiya! Oh my god. That's out of the question. What? Kazuma-sama may have departed this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. But what if it's something important? Something relevant to the case? Alright, I won't read it. Wow. Okay, there just has to be something in there then. Come on. Poor Kazuma-sama. I don't like prying into people's personal matters either. But in this case, isn't the need for clues more important? Maybe later, like once we actually investigate more. I think that's pretty much it for everything here. Nothing else really like kind of stands out. There is a knife though. Can I get the knife or? Yeah, it's part of the dinner, I think. Yeah, none of that seems to be popping out. Yeah, okay. I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator. A hole through which fresh air can circulate into the cabin. Oh, I did auto. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, if that's what it does, it looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. Yes, it would appear to. You're right. But if its purpose is to allow fresh air into the room, surely it would be connected to the outside. That's true. Perhaps it's so that rain and spray don't find their way in when the seas are rough. Or something like that. I suppose. Maybe that's it. What the fuck? Who's that? He wasn't there a minute ago. As far as I can tell, it looks like he might be European. Oh, how did he... You noticed the man too, have you? I have no idea who he is or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious and tall. Suspiciously tall. Naruto-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is? Well, no. I don't have a foreign friend or any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. And he is investigating Kazuma's desk. Or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him. Am I just imagining it, or does Susato-san look almost uncontrollably excited? By the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case, if you press space when they're in the cross-stage, you can converse with them. Yep. Alright then. I'll get that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights and see what he has to say for himself. Oh, please do. Yeah, hold on. Let's make sure I get all of this first. And then I'll talk to the other guy. It's some 2 weeks since we set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time, Naruto-san? I think living isn't quite the right description. Oh, no, I suppose not. Although it must have been rather exciting, making this voyage in your own secret hideout. The trouble was, I never knew when a member of the crew might come on in. So yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. And last night was no exception. But because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin. No, sadly not. Can I get this? No. Alright, I guess we could talk to him, but let's actually talk to this guy first. Perhaps I should see what the Russian crewmate makes of the scene of the crime. Excuse me. What? I was wondering how it's going. The investigation, I mean. Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes, but it is not true, I see. Sorry? The criminal asking investigator for information about his crime? Very funny. Oh, it wasn't supposed to be a joke. He doesn't appear to be laughing either. He's convinced you're guilty. He might have useful information, though. I have to keep trying. So, last night, did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all? Night! Of course not! Now back to the corner of the room and make silent. I say no more to you. Did I hit a nerve? Just for a minute there, he seemed a little flustered. Alright, Holmes. Excuse me. What the fuck? Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh. This is a critical point of my investigation. Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Greetings! I hope I haven't kept you long. Oh, this theme about to be fierce. Oh man, that's starting to sound kind of fire. What exactly were you doing on Kazuma's desk just now? Ah, I see. Fascinating. Sorry? What do you see? It feels like he's looking right through me. Ah, yes. Everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry? What? And now, whilst venturing towards foreign climes, you found yourself in the most troubling predicament. Oh, well that's true at least. But how? How the deuce do I know that? Perhaps. It was really a most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? But of course, a great many things. There is no mystery, my dear madam. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia, being as you are merciless revolutionary. You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake, and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. And when an be-ribboned occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes. Just to be clear, you're talking about me, are you? Certainly I am. Do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name? I don't even see one person who fits the bill. So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-sama. What? And you're plotting a revolution too. It's shameful behavior, Naruto-san. Absolutely wicked. No, listen, there's no way. Get fucked. That's 3, baby. Hold that. Hold that shit. Now explain yourself. Tell me everything. This is ridiculous. How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously. Oh, forgive me. And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head. But was I not right? Whilst venturing towards foreign climes, you do find yourself in the most troubling predicament, do you not? Well, yes, maybe. Huh, there you have it, you see? What do you make of that, Well, to be honest, this ship is en route to England, and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder, so I'm not really sure you could call it deduction. It's more plain observation. Indeed, an observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles, you see. I announce my findings with a brazy certitude. And more often than not, I'm right. I don't think you introduced yourself. Ah, my apologies. How remiss of me. I am none other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women the world over. The inimitable Herzog Sholmes. So, it's really you, the actual Herlock Sholmes. The very same, the inimitable actual Herlock Sholmes. Do you know this man, Susanoo-san? The most famous detective in the world? Naruhodo-san, of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on then? We must ask him what he's deduced. He will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? Great detective work, huh? So, you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Indeed, I am none other than the one and only Herlock Sholmes. Oh, I see. You're German? Herlock, was it? No, I have no her. I mean, I have hair. Please call me Sholmes. You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. Oh yes, Rant's magazine, full of wonderful short stories and interesting articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England especially. Ah yes, here it is. The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes. So, you're the protagonist in a series of short stories then. Indeed I am. And you've read so many of your own stories, you've started to think that you are actually a detective? Make no mistake, I'm not the poor, deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backwards. Backward? My trusty biographer records my greatest detecting achievements and chronicles them in the magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London. Dr. Wilson? I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. Why, this very moment, I am returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown. Really? I can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. Deduction, you see, is to me a mere science. Logical reasoning in its purest form. A science? Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in his subject. A furtive glance, a twitch of the muscle, a slight inclination of the posture, fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin. All these things are data. Right. And the trained logician makes deductions from this data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago. How can you look me in the eye and claim that? So you see, I have a turn both for observation and for deduction, and fame. That is what makes me the one and only Herlock Sholmes. Oh, fucking hell, this guy. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Haven't managed to deduce anything? My dear fellow. Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Ah, I see. In other words, I'm in these now because of him. When I became anxious about Kazuma-San this morning, I summoned all of the crew members to force the cabin door open. And I concealed myself among their number, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective Herlock Sholmes was on board. And the handcuffs seemed to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo. Ugh. The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, two facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh really? Two facts, you say? Mr. Sholmes, tell us, please. What two facts were apparent to you when you came into the cabin this morning? Ah, yes. But first, let us be precise. The two facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, I understand. But what were they? Allow me to elucidate. The two facts I deduced from the mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number 1. The cabin was locked from within, rendering escape from the culprit out of the question. Number 2. The victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. Hold on, Mr. Sholmes. What made you think the victim was Russian? Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. I'm not gonna pretend like I know that. That is the Russian word for wardrobe. Do you really think Kazuma-sama could have left a dying message in Russian? In their final moments, many find their native tongue filling their head. For this young man, Russian. Kazuma was Russian, was he? Initially, I considered Garderobe may be the name of the killer. A certain Robert Gard, perhaps. But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there at least. Where you found Mr. Naruhado sleeping soundly. Quite so, I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer. Why is it that I'm Russian too? I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. And if memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. Our school's uniforms are the traditional dress of the Russian people? I had no idea. And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong. I took a photograph of the victim and the message that I might analyze for the possible hidden details. This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Kazuma had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhado? Oh, yes, thank you. Can I ask you something, Mr. Sholmes? What, pray? You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all that? Ah, yes. The train of reasoning that led me to the truth. Would you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me, do you think? Certainly, if that interests you. How many times... I'm not Russian, and I don't speak Russian. Can we talk about your deduction before? The things you concluded about me, I mean. Ah, the now famously accurate troubled predicament you find yourself in? Actually, it was the other details that I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16 part. Ah yes, the more sordid details. It was a fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads, Revolutionary Vilan Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. This vessel made a port called the Shanghai yesterday, and last night the young Russian was murdered. Since when was Kazuma a Russian? It sounds like Mr. Sholmes had concluded that he was Russian because of what Kazuma-sama wrote on the floor. It was a simple act of reasoning to realize that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary. One who would kill the very man who helped him to escape after his true identity was discovered. Yes, you, Vilan Bolshevik. No. How could it be me? I don't look anything like this man. Just look at his face. Well, You are a fearsome revolutionary, after all. Therefore, you have no doubt learned to revolutionize your appearance as well. Ugh, please. And I might add, your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Need I say more? Well, that's because I'm a stowaway. What about the other details? The 16 victims of assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower. Ah, yes. The journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed all the particulars in the article. The deeds of the man are perpetrated thus far, and those he is plotting. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can't be no mistake. Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters, I wonder? And what about the part where you said I was just returning from Afghanistan? Oh, what's up, Honduran? You have animated emotes? No, unfortunately I don't. Animated emotes from what it looks like right now are only exclusive to partners, to which I'm only an affiliate. Looks like that you have Kevin Ha, who's a partner, K-Brad, who's a partner, and I don't know who this guy is. This Zazogi. Yeah, I'm not really sure who that is. But it looks like from what you have already are people who are partnered already. If I ever do become partner, I will have one for sure. I just don't know what I would get yet. Bolshevik has recently returned after a period of subversive activities in a war-torn region of Afghanistan. Where even is that, anyway? This Afghanistan place. Here, take the paper for yourself, as a little memento of this great deduction. Oh, thank you. I've absorbed all that is of interest to me within its pages, but I see no rubbish bin any nearby. You think December, us bum-ass affiliates get them? No harm in really taking a look. May as well just find out myself. Affiliate, switch, I guess, animated emotes. Let's see if there's any. To upload an animated emote, animated emotes are now available to all partners and can be accessed, we hope, to make animated emotes available to all affiliates by the end of 2021. Yeah, so far the blog of Twitch hasn't said that it's confirmed or not, but I guess we can find out once December hits if that's going to be accurate or not. And you may find the article at the back of the page of interest as well. On the back? Cast your eye over it sometime if interest takes you, though you may need someone to interpret. It's all written in Russian. I couldn't hope to read it. But I suppose it wouldn't hurt just to glance at the article. Maybe there might be a picture or two. May as well look now, right? Can I? Yeah. Let's take a look. First, let's see if I can examine anything. It doesn't look like it for now. Oh, you can't even, like, look at it yet. I'd like to flip it around. I'm afraid I can't read a word of Russian. No, me neither. I have no idea what any of this says. The pair of you floundering is a sorry sight. Allow me to offer some assistance. The article on the front page of this newspaper is concerned with a fearsome Russian revolutionary. It reads, Revolutionary Wieland Borchev flees Russia from Shanghai. Yes, you told us of that before. It reveals also that those who see the man's beard will, with their own eyes, neither live to tell the tale. Oh my goodness, he ears fearsome. Well, presumably the newspaper photographer was alright, wasn't he? The solution is obvious, of course. If he despises his beard to that degree, he need only shave it off. I'm not quite sure that's the problem, Mr. Sholmes. Yeah. Oh, can I actually rotate? No, because it actually just moved on its own then. Fine. Before we started talking, you were explaining Kazuma's desk, weren't you? Or examining Kazuma's desk. Kazuma? Ah, yes, the victim. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe for a moment the desktop of the victim. We see that the victim was engaged in penning some text. London Diary. Kazuma was keeping notes of the trip. Ah, but I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset people. Tragic. And something you want to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean you've read it already? It is my business to know what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. Or smattering, excuse me. Ah, I see. Well, you're about to know what a Susato takedown is. Of course not. Susato-san? Aren't you gonna throw the detective with your trademark takedowns? I'm sorry, Naruto-san. What on earth do you mean? Life is so unfair. Anyway, to return to the matter at hand. Namely, this diary belongs to the victim. It would appear the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author was cut short. To me, what is the nature of the writing? Pray be precise as the details. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese. A smattering, dear boy, a smattering. Sayonara, bonsai, mikado, nado nado. I trust you suitably impressed. But this diary is littered with complicated-looking characters, of which I can read precisely none. So what was all that showing off about that before then? If you would be so kind to show me, I would be happy to read it to you, Mr. Sholmes. And now she's gonna... I'm much obliged, my dear madam. The final entry here in Kazuma-sama's diary consists of just 2 short sentences. The first reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. A whistling sound? These are very deep waters. Pray, go on. The second sentence reads, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? What on earth does that mean? I have no idea. I've never heard of that expression before. The ventilator grill, you say? The man was presumably referring to the lattice over there on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabin. Yes, the adjoining cabin. Speckled band, huh? What could have fucking mean? So, I believe I've gotten you enough to consider for the time being, at least. Ah, do you have somewhere to go? As it happens, the victim's writing in his diary have piqued my interest. The matter warrants further investigation, I believe. And if I am still too long, the seasickness takes hold. Oh, I suppose. You're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to? Great detectives are a curious breed. Our minds rebel at stagnation. We crave mental exhalation. So yes, I intend to investigate. Hence the truth will become clear soon enough. Do you think perhaps that we could go with you? No, that would be somewhat complicated. What? But why? A simple glance at your wrist would reveal the answer. Oh, these. After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter. No? There's no point trying to turn it into a question. You're the one who's decided I was the culprit in the first place. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point. You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago. Dear me, you're clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing. Huh? Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too. You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. I wouldn't have said that, I wouldn't have said you had the face of a criminal, you know. Not really. So, what? You were looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are. Well, anyway, that was then and this is now. What do you mean? What I mean, sir, is this. If you are the culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. Now he's just being plain rude. And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. Sense of humor is as twisted as his name. Now, Harusan, what are you just standing there for? Hmm? We must go and investigate the cabin next door as well. Aren't you forgetting something? What about these? There's no way I... Oh my god, she's just gonna break them? After Kazuma-sama spent his dying moments struggling to leave us a clue, you're willing to give up? You're just gonna roll over and accept your fate? Ugh. As if you gave me any choice in the rolling over part. I think we still have some investigating to finish off in here first, don't we? Let's carry on examining what we can in this cabin while we wait for the chance to slip next door. Good idea. The situation doesn't look good for me, but there are still things I can do to help myself. And I owe it to Kazuma to do everything I can to find a way out of this, and bring the real culprits to justice. Is something wrong, Naruto-san? Oh, no. It's just that crewman standing by the door. I can't help feeling like I've seen him somewhere before. Oh yes, you're right. He does look familiar. Excuse me, sir? Yes? What can I do you for? I recognize that face. But it can't be. Yep, he's the one from the first case. It is. I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hasanaga. Hello again. What are you doing here? I think that should be my line. I was so stunned when I saw you, my heart stopped. Nearly stopped, I hoped. I received some special order to go undercover as a member of the crew and board the ship. Again? You certainly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector. If there's anything I can do to help you, please ask. I never expected to see this man on board, but perhaps his presence can help me out of this hopeless situation. So what are your special orders this time, Inspector? Yes, and why are you dressed as a member of the crew? I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. I take full responsibility. For what? My orders were to act as Asagi-san's bodyguard. It was Minister of Justice Chikogu? Yeah, I guess. Who pushed for this overseas study tour to go ahead. And he entrusted me with ensuring that Asagi-san reached Great Britain without being assassinated. Assassinated? How could that even be been a possibility? I'm not sure. But these are complicated times. There are tensions between the world's greatest powers. Minister Chikogu said we should be prepared for all eventualities. This is incredible. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama was assassinated? Obviously, we couldn't give Asagi-san a visual security escort. Which is why I'm undercover now, posing as one of the crew. I see. And I didn't take my eyes off him the entire time we've been aboard. From morning until night, every day. But I never imagined it would happen here, inside his own cabin, not here on the first class deck. I failed miserably at my assignment, and Usagi-san is dead as a result. I'm a disgrace. All I can do is humbly apologize. Inspector. So if there's anything at all that I can do to help now, Just say the word. There's fucking bigger meaning to this shit that he was fucking targeted, but more like assigned to help a targeted. We're doing what we can to investigate Kazuma's death ourselves. I thought you might be. You didn't do it, did you? You're not the killer. Of course not. We'd really like to investigate the cabin next door. Yes, so we need to be allowed out of this cabin. I'm sorry. What? You've been deemed as a risk to the ship's safety. If you moved even, if you move to even touch the handle of the cabin door. That stormy looking sea-man there would surely snap your neck in two. I suppose. I'm not just a stowaway now. They think I'm a murderer as well. Would it be possible to give me something to work with, do you think? I'm gonna need something persuasive. What do you mean? If I had a solid reason why the next door cabin could be investigated, for example, I'd do everything I could to persuade the captain to allow it. Really, I'd lay my life on the line if I had to. But I don't see how... There may be a way. What? Really? Think of how you tried to persuade me of your innocence, Naruhito-san, by presenting me with a piece of evidence that you already had in your possession. Evidence? It's just the same as when you were in court. You must have done it many times during your trial. Simply choose some evidence that Inspector Hasenaga could use. So evidence that would give us a viable reason to investigate the next door cabin, is it? Alright, yes. I think I might know what we can use. Yeah, well, this is just like tutorial-based shit that would get you involved into it. I guess I have to like go back and then then present. R. What's that? It's Kazuma's diary. Just before he died, Kazuma-San Sama wrote something rather strange in his diary. Strange? In what way? Sorry, hold on. Okay, no, it's just more of... He wrote, what looks like some kind of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? That is strange. Yes, we're still trying to work out what he meant by that. But what I'd like to know is... Don't tell me. The ventilator, is it? You're very astute, Inspector. That ventilator clearly joins to the next door cabin. That's right. So if we can investigate in there, we might be able to work out what the speckled band was. Alright then. I can't leave this cabin at the moment. I'm stuck here until we arrive at the next port. The captain has given me strict orders to guard the scene of the crime, you see. I'll have to entrust the investigation to you. Really? You're willing to do that? Yes. As long as you don't leave the first cabin area. I'm afraid I can't remove these handcuffs, though. But what about the captain? Aren't you going against his direct orders? I'm a man of my word. And I promise you that I'll lay my life on the line if that's what it takes to convince the captain. After all, I failed to keep Asosagi-san alive. Or safe. This is the least I can do. Thank you. Let's seize the moment then, Naruhito-san. Alright, so now we can actually, like, use moves so we can move around. There we go. There we go. What the hell is that? Like a little fucking mousetrap down there? Whew. I'm finally out of that cabin. I have to admit, this isn't quite what I was expecting. It's less spacious out here than I thought it would be, and this is the most luxurious accommodation. Yes, indeed. Kazuma-sama was being sent on the study tour by the government. That's why he was being put up in a first-class cabin. Even still, this is about twice as large as my accommodation in steerage. Really? That must be awful. Oh my god. Oh, look over there. There's another crewman keeping watch, and he looks enormous, even if he is sitting down. The door next to him leads to second-class accommodation. I suppose he's making sure that no one comes in here who shouldn't. I suppose. Like people in handcuffs? Naruhito-san, you look like a little boy visiting a toy shop for the first time. I would have thought you'd be used to the ship by now. We've been at sea for 2 weeks already. Well, yes, I know. But the thing is, I was inside Kazuma's trunk when I first came aboard. And ever since then, I've been shut up inside that little wardrobe. It must have been a very trying time for you. Please don't give me that pitying look. Alright, well, yeah, let's at least take a look at some of this stuff. It may not be important, but a huge book on the top of the table there, and there's a pen next to it. Yes, that looks like the ship's log. Shall we have a little look through it? The writing is so neat and precise. Every detail about the voyage has been meticulously recorded. You wouldn't expect a rough and ready sailor to have such beautiful handwriting. And nothing. Not a reaction at all. I thought he might appreciate the compliment. I'm not sure that rough and ready is much of a compliment, Naruhito-san, even to a sailor. Anyway, last night's log is mostly blank. Presumably that means there was nothing to report. Okay. Take a look at that. This looks like the plan of the SS Bureau. It shows each deck too. The Bureau is a large-scale steamship with a triple-skinned hull. What a marvel of engineering. Well, it's been playing on my mind for a while now, actually, but how is it that such a huge lump of metal doesn't just sink to the bottom of the ocean? Oh, that's really quite simple, Naruhito-san. It is? Well, considering the Japanese archipelago, the islands of Japan? Yes, they're not metal. They're enormous lumps of earth many, many times larger than the ship. And they don't sink, do they? They've been floating happily on the sea since the gods created them. Well, I suppose so. Well, let's take a look at this fucking mousetrap. Ah, a trap for catching mice. Yes, we have plenty of those back home in Japan. Although they seem to be using a large, a lump of chalk or something as bait. Let me see. Yes, I think that's what is called cheese. It's made from the milk of cows. Cheese? I wonder what that tastes like. You can't eat it, Naruhito-san. The trap will shut down on your fingers. Really? But, I suppose you're right. You weren't actually gonna try it, were you? All I've had to eat for the past couple days is Kazuma's leftovers. You don't know how hungry I've been in that wardrobe. Poor you. I'll find a little snack for you later. Was this the door I came from? I guess. This is it. This is the cabin next to ours. The one the ventilator connects to. Yes, the ventilator from which Kazuma-sama wrote that he saw a speckled band emerging. Maybe whoever's in this cabin can help that solve that particular mystery. Let's ask. Oh my god. Oh, excuse me. We need to get inside this cabin here. The sailor's eye speaks volumes. They're clearly saying, keep out. That's what I wrote on the sign when we put over the wardrobe doors. Although this man's version is definitely more effective. It doesn't look like he's gonna let us pass. That's a problem. What do you think this is? It's a very pleasing shape, isn't it? That's the emergency alarm. It's probably best not to touch it. Oh, an alarm. It says, press only in times of emergency. It looks as though it sets alarm bells ringing all over the ship. It brings the vessel to a complete stop. Oh, what are you doing, Naruto-san? You mustn't touch it. But this is an emergency situation. Just look at these handcuffs. You know full well that's not what the alarm is for. If you were to bring the vessel to a standstill for no good reason, you'd be in an even worse situation. I wish everything would just stop. This ship included. If you have to do something foolish, at least make it something that doesn't affect anyone else. Okay. That's the way to the second class area of the ship. Is something wrong? I was thinking about making a run for it, just for a moment. Things aren't exactly going well for me. I might be wrong, but I imagine the moment you reach for the handle of the door, that burly seaman would surely shoot you dead. Oh dear. I'm sorry. Perhaps I went a little too far there. No, I started with my talk of running away. And there's no way I could run away while Kazuma's death remains a mystery anyway. Excuse me, but could I ask you something? You little stowaway murderer. That wasn't a good start, was it? Alright, let me try instead. Good day, Mr. Sailor. I'm so sorry to trouble you, but could I perhaps ask you something of you? You little third-class lady's maid? Oh. You seem to have caught this sailor on a bad day, Susato-san. I'm not a sailor. My mother gave me name. I am senior crewman Biff Stroganov. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh fuck. That's awful. That's awful. Whew. The best thing is just to avoid eye contact, I think. Mr. Stroganov, about the first-class cabin area. Here we are in the finest part of Bureau Steamship, for very important persons. What sort of very important persons? Government officials, kings and queens traveling in secret, many important persons. That is why I'm always guarding this place. Gosh, that's amazing. But somehow I let stupid stowaway inside. I want to pick you up and throw you in ocean, but Stroganov is no animal. Thank you? If I may, I was wondering, is the cabin next to Mr. Osagi's currently occupied? I think that's Da. Susato-san, did you understand that? It sounded like Da. I think it's probably Russian for yes. Or no? Genius. It is not permitted to visit other cabins without invitation. Well, it sounds like there's somebody in the next door cabin at least. Yes, it's tantalizing. Could you tell us who's traveling in the cabin next to Mr. Osogi's? His name is Mr. Grimsley Roylott. He is a very important Western gentleman. A Western gentleman. Do not think about it. He has nothing to do with the murder, stupid boy. How can you be so sure about that? Mr. Roylott is authentic Western gentleman. Such a man would have no interest in lowly student from insignificant Far East Islands. That was harsh. Could you tell us when Mr. Roylott came aboard? That is not your business. Come to think of it, even though we've been at sea for 2 weeks now, And I've been in Kazuma's cabin the entire time. I've never once heard anything from the next door cabin, or even felt like there's anyone there. Well, presumably, since this gentleman is occupying one of the first-class cabins, he must be rather important, is that right? That is not your business. Are you on watch here all the time, Seaman Stroganoff? Duh, all time. So criminals like you cannot come in, or get out. I wonder, could you tell us anything about last night at all? It is said about Student Boy. Were you on watch last night as well? Of course. And did you notice anything at the time? Anything unusual? Hit! Susato-san, did you understand that? It was clearly a no. I saw nothing unusual, nothing at all. And you didn't hear any strange noises or sense anything was wrong in some way? I said no! Sorry. I'm not so sure. I could have sworn that he wouldn't catch my eye for a moment there. This is enough. I cannot say no more. Oh. It is time for me to report to Captain. I must return to cabin. Yes, alright. Bulkhead to second-class area is staying locked at all times. You escape when the lobster whistles at the top of the mountain, or as the English say, when the pigs fly. Yes, I understand. Good. Now we can investigate this area properly, shall we? Definitely. Okay, now we can actually go back in here. Hold on. Okay, smart. This is it. This cabin next to ours, the one ventilator connects to. Yes, ventilator from which Kazuma wrote that he saw the speckled band emerging. Maybe whoever's in this cabin can help us solve that mystery. Let's ask. No answer. We're out of luck, it seems. There's no one in there that can help to help with our inquiries. How annoying. Ah! What was that? It came from inside the cabin. Such a high-pitched scream. It must have been a woman. Stand aside. I'm about to break the door down. Mr. Sholmes, I shan't be stopped. When the fit is on me, I revel in kicking doors off their hinges. Please, wait, Mr. Sholmes. The door doesn't appear to be bolted. It doesn't? Then how the deuce can I dispatch this muscular urge? What, pray, can I kick? I think we should get it, go in. There's no time to think about stress relief. Who are you? A Western gentleman? This man looks Russian to me. We heard a woman scream. A woman? Don't be absurd. As you can see, there's nobody but me in this cabin. True, this old man does appear to be the only person in here. But in that case, who just screamed? Get out, all of you, now! Please excuse the intrusion, but you're Mr. Grimsey Roylet, I believe. Yes, that's me. And you are? I am the one and only, the actual Herlock Sholmes. You've heard of me, no doubt. No. I am the great detective among great detectives. One who adorns the covers of popular magazines, no less. So I assure you, you may trust me completely. This man uses that magazine like a business card. A detective? I do not trust detectives. We distinctly heard a scream emanating from within these walls. But there wouldn't appear a lady concealing herself within the wardrobe at this time. So might I be so bold to ask you to open that small traveling case? What? Don't be stupid. How could anyone fit in a small trunk like that? Well, it's quite fashionable these days, is it not? Traveling inside one's trunk. Don't look at me. Oh my, did you see that, Mr. Naruto? Yes, the case just shook. Leave, now. Otherwise, I'll call the steward. So this is Kazuma's neighbor, Mr. Grimsby Roylott. There's no doubt about it. The strange Russian man is hiding something. I couldn't agree more. Let's see if we can find some clues before that burly sailor returns. Yeah, let's take a look first, for sure. he's just chilling. All right. I didn't actually mean to click there, but this is also out of place too. What do you think you're doing? Ah! This is my cabin. Get out. Can we just have a quick look inside your traveling case, perhaps? No. Huh? What a pity. I think we're out of luck. I think you're right. There doesn't appear to be anything more we can do. I agree. But there may be someone else who can help. Perhaps that great detective could get somewhere with Mr. Roylott. Do you have a moment, please, Mr. Sholmes? You need only address me as Sholmes. That's what I just said, didn't I? Well, Mr. Sholmes, what were you doing in there? Why, I was resting, of course. Resting? Indeed. I was contemplating our sea voyage from the confines of the wardrobe whilst waiting. Waiting for the inevitable time that you would need to call my great powers of deduction into service. Oh! And it would seem that the hour is upon us now. The time has come. Am I mistaken? Well, no, actually, you're spot on for once. Observe closely. Our Russian host in this captain, Mr. Roylott, is clearly trying to hide something. And do you know what is the most effective weapon to use against a Russian hiding a secret? Why? The truth, of course. Though it should be pointed out that such methods are not exclusively for the Russians. Right. Can you imagine how the Russians will react when the secret he guards is so closely is exposed? Would you like to witness it? Oh yes, please. Well then, what are you about to see may well astound you. For I am about to apply the great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. I have so much shit I gotta fucking go through. Could this man be a more hackneyed portrayal of a dubious Russian, I ask you? What? From time to time, it occurs to me. Is a fellow dubious on account of his Russianness, or Russian on account of his dubiousness? I really don't think either of those things should be occurring to you, or anyone. That's right, and Mr. Sholmes. I know this man's beard and dark glasses are hard to ignore, especially on the first meeting, but once I read, it is a capital mistake to theorize before you have all the evidence. It biases the judgment. Shh! I must have complete silence. Oh my god. What are you doing? Why are you peering at my face like that? Ah, just as I thought. Yes, I have quite made up my mind now. There can be no other explanation that accommodates all the facts. Mr. Roylott, I have reached two incontrovertible conclusions. What do you mean? Number one, your true identity is that of a villain. Using those shears, you are about to end the existence of someone, something most dear. Are you not? Huh? And number two, The other conclusion I have drawn, you are, at this very moment no less, in the midst of committing a most grievous crime. Beneath that beard, your mouth quivers with nervous tension that you, as you realize you have been discovered. Does it not? Ugh. Oh, Naruhodo-san. I never imagined I would witness one of Mr. Sholm's great deduction with my own eyes. That was a great deduction? Nothing can deceive Mr. Sholmes. In a single glance, he can deduce all there is to know about a person. What? What inevitable twaddle. Oh yes, I've read about it countless times in the adventures of Herlock Sholmes, and now I've experienced the astonishing impact of great deduction firsthand. This is like a dream come true. I can hardly believe it, but all the color is drained from Mr. Roylet's face. It's like, it looks like somehow both of Mr. Sholmes' conclusions were right. How? How could I possibly know such things, you wish to say? Very well then, I shall elucidate. I shall explain how it was that I arrived at this pair of conclusions. So I cordially invite you to, upon a journey of logical discovery. Let us board the train of reasoning. Put plainly, let us work through my deductions together. The Great Deduction. The game is afoot. What the fuck? Topic 1. Old man's identity. Conclusion. What the fuck? So the dubious... Oh, this is new. Okay. The dubious-looking Russian, Mr. Roylet, obviously what catches the eye in the first place. Is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You are on the verge of using the shears to cut away your Kubia's beard, you sport. Now, moving on. The question then begged is this. Why would you desire to rid yourself of this magnificent beard, Mr. Roylet? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. Regard, if you will, this morning's newspaper, in particular the fascinating front page article. Which, it would appear, you have read also, Mr. Roylet. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. In translation, the headline reads, Revolutionary Villain Bolshev flees Russia via Shanghai. As you cannot fail to observe, the subject of the article possesses an extremely copious beard. Having noted the article yourself, you decided to remove your incriminating facial hair before it gave you away. In short, your true identity is beyond doubt. You are the fearsome Russian revolutionary himself, Villain Bolshevik. Not that I've heard of you myself, you understand. Do I do anything with that? Wrongdoing. Now, as for my second conclusion, you are at this very moment on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime? Over there. Oh yes, Mr. Roylet. Taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes stray, you see. Ah, I assure you, the eyes speak so much more eloquently, and honestly, than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the fruitive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, that traveling case. Holy shit, this guy is fucking going in. It is time, I think, that the case be opened and its contents laid bare. No, I refuse. What could you possibly be concealing inside, we ask? By my estimation, A young lady, perhaps. One slight enough to fit Theron. Don't be absurd. And what, pray, would be the identity of this young lady in the traveling case? Dear me, we are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? You careless kook Doyle betrays you. Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason you refuse to open your traveling case can be found in the pages of this newspaper. For there is another, most stimulating article. If we turn from the fleeing revolutionary to the back page, renowned prima ballerina of the Novivik Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Such a headline can lead us but one conclusion. Your crime is that of abduction. And according to the article, the young lady's name is Nikolina Pavola. Or Pavlova. Something like that. I don't know. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this Russian enigma, Elementsky, I guess. Susato-san, that wasn't one of the greatest deductions I've been hearing so much about, was it? Well, the stories are full of Mr. Sholmes' brilliant deductions, you know. But that did seem a little different somehow. Excuse me, Mr. Sholmes. Can you come over here for a moment? Pray, what can I do you for? It's about your deductions. Would you mind? Not at all. Go ahead. Well, to start with, there's a newspaper article. I think we had the same discussion before, but these two men look nothing like each other. Yes, I recall our discussion earlier, and at the time, I believe I told you that the man is a revolutionary, well able to revolutionize his own appearance. In fairness to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Roylott does look more like this man than you do. That's not the point. And another thing, the part about him abducting the ballerina? Indeed, a truly startling revelation. At first glance, the case would appear too small to accommodate a young man or woman. Not just at first glance, it is too small, clearly. You'd be lucky to fit a 5-year-old child in that case, even if you push really hard. I don't suppose the missing ballerina is a 5-year-old child, is she? You mean you don't know? No, the young lady is 15. No, I didn't know. How could I? Well, if she's 15, then 10 years worth of her would be poking out from the case. Some years ago, I read something pertinent, I believe. A troop of men consuming vinegar daily in order to promote a certain litheness in their bodies. Vinegar? For such a sour bunch, it would surely be simplicity itself to control oneself into the confines of the small case. Oh dear. You might be thinking of contortionists in the circuit. Oh, yeah. This whole thing is turning into a circus. Mr. Naruhado, something's occurred to me about Mr. Sholmes' deductions just now. I think his powers of observation are, well, magical. His eyes cut to the heart of the matter almost instantly. It's just where he directs the attention and his logic that seem a little off. Your idea of a little may be a little off itself, Miss Sato. It's just one or two key words in his deductions that seem to let him down. So I was wondering if we might perhaps tactfully switch them for alternatives. What do you think? Switch some key words in his deductions. Yes, but very tactfully. I feel sure if we could do that. we'd unlock the true genius of Mr. Sholmes' great deduction. Precisely the thought that was going through my own mind. This man is a lot of work. At times, I wonder how anyone puts up with me. It's not that funny. And you, my good fellow. Sorry? Take a moment to look at your wrists. My wrists? Ah, where are your handcuffs? Huh? How did... I felt they may hinder your ability to follow me in our dance of deduction. I don't believe it. Mr. Sholmes, you're a marvel. And don't worry, I shall restore the shackles to your wrists when we are finished. I'm not worried. In fact, I'd rather stay like this. So, let us begin. Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasonable spectacular. Course correction, hold it, Mr. Sholmes. So the dubious rush at Mr. Roylott, obviously what catches the eye in the first place. Is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring at us in the face. You are on the verge of using to cut away the copious beard, sort. I'm not sure. Would you really use shears like that to cut off a beard? I doubt that's something I'll ever have to worry about. It doesn't quite sit right with me, though. It doesn't seem to be sitting right with Mr. Roylott either. Which means I suppose that the deduction is wrong. Let's try and switch a key word here, Naruto-san, and see if it helps matters. Alright, but how? I think we should start by taking a long, hard look at Mr. Roylott. I wonder if he's really, if it's really his beard that he intends to use the shears on. Exactly. If we manage to find something that fits to, seems to fit the sense of Mr. Sholmes' deduction better, then what? Then I'll leave the rest in your capable hands, Naruto-san. Why am I the one to do something about this? Well, anyway, let's see if there's anything we could even use to switch around in the last sentence. What exactly was Mr. Roylott really going to use those enormous shears on? Beard, thick hat. Oh, you can like kind of examine the person all around. Coat buttons? Why would he cut anything maybe off of his person? Are you looking at the buttons on his coat? Could it be that Mr. Roylott was planning to cut these off? Oh, why? Well, when you're wearing thick gloves, it can be very hard to undo buttons. Then, could you just take your gloves off first? Aha! So he was going to use the scissors to cut his gloves off then. I want you to take a deep breath and look at this from a fresh perspective, Mr. Harusan. Oops. I think she's angry. Oh, that's funny. Can we, like, look around? Like... I wonder if there's, like, another way.
Yes!
Oh, I didn't mean the hat. Okay, whoops. For years, you've been on the run in your homeland, and that hat has never left your head. As a result, almost unbelievably, your thick beard has woven itself inextricably together with your hat. But now you have an itch. Somehow you must reach it, even if that means cutting off the hat. What spectacular contrived logic led you to this mindless conclusion? Oh, well, it's supposed to be logic and reasoning spectacular, so I thought I'd contribute to the show. This is my show, Mr. Haruno. Kindly perform any peculiar experiments on your own stage. So, oh wow, okay, I didn't mean to actually, like, do that, so, well. Like, I can't, like, turn his direction. Are you just looking at the hat? It's a very thick hat. Oh, that's a secret you see in Naruto-san. Don't you know? Secret? What? Well, before we left Japan, I took some time to study various foreign countries. Russia is a land of unimaginable cold. A thick hat is the secret of keeping warm. Without one, I read that your brain would freeze. That was just one of my fascinating snippets of information in Oh Mother, Not Russia. I think maybe you picked the wrong book there. We've done that, so let's take a look at the beard again, I guess. It really is a very full beard, isn't it? Yes. Although according to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Rowlett was about to cut it off. I still think that he looks nothing like the man pictured in the newspaper article, though. The apparently merciless revolutionary Valen Bolshevik. If he wasn't going to cut off his beard, presumably he was going to cut something else. Yes, we need to look at it from a fresh perspective and try to work out what. But I can't, like, move anywhere. Like, it's changing, like, the camera. Oh, yes I can. Okay, I have to use the mouse to, like, kind of turn around and see. What the? What's this? It looks like a cascade of stunning gold locks. No. It's the color is not the point. The point is, what is it doing on the back of Mr. Rowlett's head? And how is it growing out from underneath his thick black hair? Well, yes, that's true. It's so it's stunningly beautiful and stunningly surprising. Something's definitely not right here. Well, yes, it would be the...
Yes!
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, you fucked up, but let me fix it. You're on the verge of using the cuts to show away the golden locks you sport. Indeed. You have identified the precise detail I was intending to expose. We weren't working together, you fucked up. Such lush golden hair certainly does not befit an old man. You're not a man at all, you're a woman. And judging from the length and sheen of your hair, one's still very much in your youth. Oh no. If only I had managed to cut off my hair, no one would have suspected. The question then begged is this: why would you desire to rid yourself of the magnificent locks? Once again, the answer is plain. We have very clear evidence to shed light on the matter. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. Oh my god. Well, that was a shock. I had no idea that old man was really a young woman in disguise, did you? What? Why are you staring at me like that? Yes, it was a surprise, Naruto-san. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Sorry? You look like you're in your element as you dance around in the room dedicating the facts of Mr. Sholmes. Oh, excuse me. I'm just doing what we agreed. I'm not having fun or anything. This is strictly business. Yes, I understand. Say no more. Well, anyway, let's focus on the next part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction, shall we? The evidence that he's picked out doesn't fit the facts at all now. No, that's true, given that Mr. Rowlett is actually a woman. Exactly. He, or rather she, can't possibly be this merciless revolutionary. I suppose it's because the deduction as a whole has taken a different direction now. Yes. Let's switch the evidence for something else. Something that fits the facts as we now understand them. For some reason, this woman needs to try to hide her true identity. I feel as though I've either read or heard about a young woman in a situation like that recently. Alright, I'll do my best. So that it wouldn't be about the revolutionary, it would have to be switching over to... How do I switch? Review scene? There you go. This is interesting. Have you found something relevant, Naruto-san? Well, no, I mean, it looks like it might be interesting. I can't read a single word, I'm afraid. No, nor can I. But look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess, do you think? She's very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? I don't know. I can't make any sense of it. I'm glad you noticed this article. I would have read this earlier if I knew I could have turned it. Allow me to give you a short summary of its contents. Oh, thank you. He pops up everywhere, this Mr. Sholmes. It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novak Ballet disappears from Shanghai. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. She is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova. Why are Russian names so hard to remember? It would appear the woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing room, wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worth some 20,000 rubles. Oh, how much is 20,000 rubles? I have no idea, but I'm quite sure. It must be an unbelievable sum of money. Suzato-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. The tiara is a property of the Novak Ballet. It would seem as the director is beside herself with worry. Yes, I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavola and the valuable tiara. They've requested internal assistance at all ports with sailings to Great Britain. Could this be another case of the Russian fleeing his or her country? It does seem to be the Russian thing to do. I'm not even going to dignify that with a response, Mr. Naruhito. Okay, so now we actually have that, so we can use it.
Yes!
The evidence that reveals your true identity of this, of course, the article of the ballerina. That's right. You've hit the nail on the head. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novak Ballet disappears from Shanghai. It would appear we are finally able to address you by your true name. Yes, because your true identity is that of the Novak Ballet's prima ballerina. Miss Nikolivia Nico. Damn. That's a nice earring. You're right. My real name is Nina. I mean, Nikolina Pavlova. But please, I beg you, don't tell anyone. I couldn't have been kidnapped at this point, so... Now, as for my second conclusion. You are at this very moment on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime? Over there. Ah yes, Miss Pavlova. Taken unawares, people have propensity to let their eyes stray, you see. Ah. And I assure you, your eyes speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the fugitive glance lies, or falls. The proof of your crime sits before your very eyes. Yes, that traveling case. This woman is in the ballerina, and she's right in front of our eyes. So clearly she can't be inside that traveling case as well. No, that's right. It seems she wasn't abducted at all. In which case, what is this crime this young woman is apparently committing? I can see I'm going to have to step in and fix the great detective's mistake again. You seem to look pleased, Mr. Hato-san. Do you think the idea of another chance to dance around Mr. Sholmes? Stop it. Anyway, there must be something else here that shows what this woman is up to. How far can I? Well, yes, we get to see the tiara. Wow, look at this dazzling tiara. I've never seen anything like it. Are those real diamonds, you think? Oh, Naruto-san, try it on. What? Me? Isn't it usually girls who wear tiaras? Wouldn't you like to try it on? Oh no, I couldn't possibly. It's far too beautiful. Why does this tiara look familiar? I feel like I've seen it somewhere recently.
Yes!
The proof of your crime is surely this tiara. I believe this tiara is worn on stage by dancers in Novovic Ballet, is it not? Indeed, it would appear to be identical to the tiara pictured here in the newspaper article. And if the reporting is to be believed, it's an item worth 20,000 rubles. In summary, the crime you have committed is theft. Oh no. Yes, you left your ballet troupe, unlawfully taking their precious tiara with you. Why did she look like she got shot? I have no one. No family, no friends. I'm all alone, and I need money. But I did not steal the tiara. It was a present from, how do you say, an Earl of Prussia? It belongs to me. This girl is only 15 years old, and she's run away all by herself. She must have been extremely lonely. Alright, I will tell you everything. There's no point in hiding it now. Come, let us not be hasty. What? There remains one unsolved mystery about you. Mystery? What do you mean? You have structurally refused to open the traveling case of yours in our presence. It is reasonable to conclude, therefore, that there exists some reason why you wish it to remain closed. Is that not so, Miss Pavola? My dear girl, there is no sense in playing games with me. Nothing escapes my attention. Indeed, I have a very good idea of the contents of your case, even before I have ever laid eyes on them. Dear me, we are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? You careless coup de voir betrays you. Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason why I refuse to open your case is written in the books on the shelf. He's completely changed tact in his deduction now. I think Mr. Jones is adapting his logic to the changing circumstances, don't you? Maybe, but why has he suddenly brought the bookshelf into all this? It's just a wild guess, surely. Oh, do you think so? Well, it doesn't seem likely that the reason why this young woman doesn't want her case to open her case would be written in a book that doesn't even belong to her. Yes, that's true, but still. Miss Pavola certainly did cast her eyes in that direction. I noticed it myself. Then there has to be another reason why she won't open her case. And it must be somewhere in the same area if that's where her gaze is involuntarily drawn. I agree. That's the only answer. Whatever she has hidden inside that case should be revealed by following her gaze in the direction of the bookcase. Small picture, rules. Let's just take a look. Ah, it looks like these are all the same books that we have in our cabin. I suppose the steward likes to make sure passengers have plenty to read for a long voyage. And have you noticed how all the books have fallen over just like Kazuma-Sama's cabin? It's almost like someone's take a sweep at them. Maybe Miss Pavola, while she was practicing her ballet? Anyway, the point is we don't have time to look through all the books at the moment. We couldn't even if we wanted to. They're all in Russian. Well, that's a relief. We'll try our luck elsewhere. Can't maybe work this any further. This is a charming little picture, isn't it? What is it? Some climbing a steep mountainside? Or descending one, it seems to me. When you've been on a flat sea for a while, maybe you start seeing hills or mountains and everything. Can't turn anywhere further than that. They're the rules of passage for, oh, for pets. Yeah, okay. I thought I was gonna like find like a bed or something in the bookshelf or something, but I knew that's what it was like gonna turn out to be, but you know.
Yes!
Hey. Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabin. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Inside that case of yours is something forbidden from carriage on this vessel. That is the real reason why you refuse to open it, thus revealing its contents. As we've seen, the trunk wobbles from time to time, but no weapon or other dangerous item would move on its own accord. Which leaves but one possibility, Miss Bufola. Inside your traveling case is a knife. Is the last item listed as the forbidden in the vessel rules rite of passage. Rules of passage. A pet. You did not need my help to fix that, by the way. You could have just said that yourself, sir. That's a cool shot, though. I don't think I've ever seen that, like the deduction shit. That's certainly new in this game, that's for sure. So clearly, you aren't who you said you were. No, I am not Grimsley Roylet. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. Everything you said was correct. You absconded during one of your ballet company's performances in order to escape your homeland. Later that same night, you stole aboard this vessel, which couldn't have been easy. The Brie is a huge steamship with a vast crew. Could she really have snuck on the board without being noticed? In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly took the guise of an old gentleman, and you intended to sever all links with your past by severing your long hair. Yet to a woman, hair is no trifling matter. My personal recommendation is to leave well alone. So, if it was just you, about to cut off your own hair, who was it that let out the scream we've heard outside the cabin? That veritable tinkling of a bell? Why, none other than this young lady, naturally. More like a full set of pipes, if you ask me. I was so scared when I ran away in Shanghai. I was sure they would come looking for me. That's why I decided to, how do you say, disgust myself, so no one would recognize me. As a result, you transform yourself into that questionable old man. I see. I put on the fur hat and fake beard. Then, just before you came in here, I saw in the newspaper, right on the page, there was a picture of me. I was so frightened, I couldn't stop from screaming. I knew that if I didn't change my appearances completely, they would find me. So I decided to cut all my hair as fastly as possible. I picked up the scissors in my hand and... At that precise moment, we walked in through the annoying, unlocked cabin door. Things happen like that sometimes, don't they? Things do indeed happen like that from time to time. Are those two even talking about the same thing? There's just one more thing I'd like to know. What exactly do you have inside your traveling case? You were right. It is my dear friend inside. My only friend in the whole world. Please, don't tell anyone. If the captain finds out, if you say to any of the crew, your secret is safe with us, I assure you. But in return, you must tell us, as in as much detail as you can muster, about the events of last night. Yes. Alright. I will tell you. Well, Mr. Arahado, wasn't it something? Mr. Not Sherlock. Mr. Sholmes' great deduction? It was certainly something, yes. I'm just not entirely sure what. But at least Miss Pavola has agreed to tell us what she knows. That's incredible. Indeed, it is incredible. Ah, and one more thing. Oh, yes? What? Observe your wrists. My... He put it back on. Ah, your hands are cuffed again. What? But how? True to my word, I have restored your shackles. Ugh. When and why? There is still a shadow of guilt cast over you, Mr. Naruhado. I'm sorry to say, it can't be helped at the moment. Huh? Can't it? Really? Anyway, let's listen to what Miss Pavola has to say. I can't go on not knowing. I have to find out what the speckled band that Kazuma-San wrote about in his diary really was. Did you know that someone was killed in the cabin next door to this one last night? One of the crewmen told me this morning when I was eating breakfast. The man who died, he was a friend of mine. Oh. That's why we're trying to find out what happened. Did you notice anything unusual last night? Perhaps you heard a strange noise, for example. Perhaps people talking? Perhaps the ship was absorbed in the wild tempest. Perhaps its steam engine exploded. Perhaps everyone on board would have noticed if that had happened. Miss Pavlova? I keep saying Pavola. Whatever. Is there anything you can tell us? I don't know. I'm sorry, but all I could think about last night was what I had done and whether they would find me. I didn't notice anything that was happening around me. Oh, I see. You've run away from your ballet company, haven't you? The Novavik Ballet? Yes. I'm traveling to Great Britain, and from there, I want to go to America. I will never dance again. I want to forget everything about the ballet. I want to start a new life. You wish to forget? A challenging proposition. When you have that striking tiara as a reminder. But that tiara is mine. I need it to live. I have no money of my own. The Novavik Ballet gives us only a little food and water, and we must dance all over the world. I had to run away. I had no choice. If I'd stayed, it would have killed me. So you ran away to protect yourself? Yes, and the crew of the ship, they have all been kind to me. They let me come on board, and they said I could hide in this cabin. If that is indeed the truth, Miss Pavlova, it creates a more intriguing conundrum. Yes, it does. What do you think about it, Mr. Naruhado? Me? Oh, well, yes, of course. I think we should hear Miss Pavola's explanation. To what conundrum, I'm not sure, but... Miss Pavlova, allow me to pose you a riddle. According to this newspaper, it was only yesterday that you absconded from the ballet. Now, that being the case, it must have been last night that you boarded this vessel. However, the SS Bureau stopped by no port last night. Ah, that's it, of course. So how is it, pray, that you come to be aboard? Now that I think about it, the crewman outside the cabin acted very strangely when we mentioned that. It was just after we asked him about when the occupant of this cabin came aboard. That is not your business. Yes, you're right. He did seem to be hiding something. An angel descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to the stage. Sorry? What was that? It is how the Russian newspapers describe one of my performances. And that is how I came here too. I descended from the heavens, because I'm an angel. Considering English isn't your mother tongue, your description is very vivid. Mr. Sholmes once said, I never can resist a touch of the dramatic. It seems Miss Pavlova is the same. A genius descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to detention. Words once said about myself. A quote from a wonderfully extravagant advertisement for the adventures of Herlock Sholmes, in fact. Yes, Mr. Showy. Anyway, it doesn't look like Miss Pavlova is going to tell us what really happened. So the friend you mentioned is inside your traveling case, is that right? I don't think animals are allowed on board, according to the rules of passage. Oh please, don't tell any of the crew. If they find my precious, then the burly Russians would bestir themselves in unison to throw you and your case overboard, no doubt. So reassuring, Mr. Sholmes. But what sort of pet is your friend? A little puppy? It is, isn't it? Maybe an adorable little rabbit? Ha! You credit Russia as a land with small rabbits, do you? Oh, don't they have small rabbits there then? You may well ask. I have no idea. Holy shit, this guy. You two are miserable bundlers when it comes to understanding the nature of young Ballerina's friends. Isn't it obvious? It must be a chicken. Really? Consider the benefits. A rousing wake-up call, daily fresh eggs, and when adversity strikes, it could satisfy the needs of sustenance. So you'd eat your friends. I'll remember that. It's a cat, geniuses. Well, it would appear this friend's identity is closely guarded secret not to be revealed. Ha 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 ha. She obviously doesn't quite trust us yet. There's something I should like to show her, I think. Maybe she might be able to shed some light on it. Let's see. What could I... Well, the speckled band, maybe. Oh, we don't even have, like, the court record for, I don't know. Let's see. This is the diary of my friend who passed away. His diary? Yes, and he wrote in it last night before he died. Something a little unusual. It reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. And then a few minutes later, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? I don't understand. It's strange, isn't it? But the ventilator he mentions joins to this cabin, you see. It's up there on the wall. In other words, this cabin and the victim's cabin are connected together. Oh! Miss Pavlova? Has something occurred to you? Does the speckled band the victim mentioned mean something to you? Or the whistling sound, perhaps? No. I don't know anything. Oh. That's it? Oh, shit. Excuse me, Mr. Royley. Damn, yes, what? Wow, she's fast. Captain would like to speak with you. You must come to Captain's quarters at once, please. Alright, I will come now. What? You must leave. Now. Oh no, it's fine. Don't mind us. Yes, please don't worry about yourself, Mr. Roylett. Get out! The passage said out, or you want me to throw you out? Ugh. It looks like we'll have to leave investigating this cabin until later. What a pity. And so we lost our chance. Having still not managed to investigate Ms. Pavlova's cabin, we were unceremoniously chased out. That is to say, we were quite literally picked up and thrown into the passageway outside. Yeah. Oh, wow, wow, fuck. Okay. Well, we at least have the pieces to start for the, like, process for the next episode, or technically the next part of it, so, oh, that's the autosave, so yeah, let's at least save this one. Okay. I think I'm just gonna leave it like that. We already had, like, our stream earlier for the reaction for the Nintendo Direct, which I'm still feeling the highs of Bayo 3 and Kirby and all that, so that's already starting to get to me. We'll continue this probably sometime next week. I'll at least try and, like, get maybe, like, 1 or 2 times a week to continue this game. But at least we got, like, the first part of this, like, for case done, so we can get into the next part. I believe that we might just go straight into, like, maybe we might be able to go to a part investigating, but I guess we'll see up until then. At least it introduced, like, the new concept of the game, the deductions part, so now I understand, like, what that entails. It's Sherlock Holmes, I could say it at least, fucking up on his deductions, and then we gotta correct him and be like, dude, you can't read, relax. But it's super interesting, like, of a dynamic that they both, like, kind of, like, do this, like, song and dance routine type thing, but it's still kind of funny to see. But either way, it's still awesome. Like I said, I'll come back to this most likely next week. Tomorrow's Friday. Did I have anything planned? We might just continue Mass Effect next week, or tomorrow. And then probably for Saturday, we can, I don't know, we probably will just go for, like, Kingdom Hearts Rando or something, or just maybe add to, like, another part of the week, or maybe do some Splitgate. I don't know, it might just be a mix of all three. Who knows? But we'll see. I know for sure, at least I'll be back tomorrow. Shoutouts again to Dez for the host earlier, and for sticking around with that presentation with his reactions too. It was kind of cool. Hopefully we can get more of that going on in case we get more reactions to see. But yeah, man, it was so far. I'm glad to be back in this game because now it's, you know, feeling right back into the streaming. So, you know, I gotta keep at it. So appreciate everyone for tuning in, and I will be back tomorrow with some Mass Effect. All right, guys, I'll catch y'all later. Peace out, y'all. See you guys next time.